The killing fields of KwaZulu-Natal. More than 10,000 people have been killed in this region in the last 15 years. It hasn't stopped. Only last week, recently elected councillors were slaughtered in Richmond. This past week, the Truth Commission heard the full story of one of KwaZulu-Natal's killing machines. The 200 Inkatha men who were trained by the South African Defence Force in Caprivi in northern Namibia in 1986, who called themselves the Inkatha Armed Wing. The evidence of the three of these men, each with the blood of many supporters of the UDF or ANC on his hands, was fiercely contested. It even led to the IFP's withdrawal from the present peace talks. It was a difficult hearing. No fewer than 29 attorneys and advocates representing politicians and generals turned up. Most of these lawyers found it difficult to make the switch from the courtroom to a commission hearing aimed only at information gathering. It soon became a time-consuming circus with many angry exchanges.
The witness can't tell me how I should cross-examine him.
What is your question?
U vertel 'n blaatante leuen aan hierdie kommissie.
May I take a turn quickly, Mr. Chairman?
I also have no instructions at this stage.
Please, Mr. Warren, let's get on.
Ja of nee?
Lawyers who should know better.
I object to this kind of situation, Mr. Chairman.
I don't really understand what's going on here.
We can read.
What are your instructions?
Perhaps I'm the one that's confused.
I'm not finished my submission, if you don't mind.
Have you finished?
I'm finished, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Now,
And this is not, in fact, a court of law.
My name is Louis Visser. Can you see me? I'm putting up my hand.
This conduct constitutes a prima facie offence, a violation of the provisions of Section 39, A, B, and C of your Act.
say on in.
But despite the legal drama and lots of hot air, the 5 witnesses this week gave a whole new insight into the bloody years between 1987 and 1993. This story really starts in the mid-1980s when the UDF rapidly increased its influence in KwaZulu-Natal. In 1985, IFP leader Mangosuthu Buthelezi asked military intelligence for support, partly for protection, but also for an offensive or attacking capability. This request was agreed to by the then State Security Council, and Operation Marion was born. In 1986, 200 young Inkatha men were secretly flown from Caprivi, where they were trained by white Defence Force instructors. When they came back to KwaZulu-Natal, many of them became professional killers. They were responsible for hundreds of deaths, among these the Makuta massacre. This massacre led to a court case last year in which General Magnus Malan and 19 others were charged. But in the end, the judge acquitted them. One of the main questions was whether the Caprivi training was for an attacking force or if the emphasis was a defensive or protective one. The judge found that the main purpose was to train a defensive group. This is in stark contrast to the evidence given this week. Strangely enough, not one of this week's witnesses was called to the Makuta trial. Pina Mkhize was one of the angry young Inkatha supporters who volunteered for training. He told the commission the trainees were welcomed by white South African soldiers when they arrived at the secret Caprivi base after a clandestine flight.
He told us that what's important is if we do allow that this country of ours be taken by communists, We should know that we have stepped ourselves with our own spear. And he said we have to answer to our grandchildren.
How would you categorize the training that you received?
Under offensive. I'll say it's under offensive because we taught a lot about attacking. We're doing things like house penetration, like infiltration,
camouflage and concealment.
Camouflage and concealment.
Tracking.
Tracking.
Survival.
Survival. And we also taught more about the dangerous arms.
RPD.
Like RPD.
RPK.
RPK.
AK-47.
AK-47.
Involve a mortar.
Arms which involves mortars.
Involve limpet mines.
Limpet mines.
Explosives. No cortex.
Explosives like cortex.
No safety fuse.
Safety fuses.
No PE4.
PE4. I don't think these are arms which you can use to defend yourself.
Rocket launchers.
Rocket launchers.
Or RPG-7.
RPG-7.
Anti-personals and anti-tanks.
Anti-personal and anti-tanks included. Beehives arms which were used to demolish bridges. I don't think these are arms which we normally use to protect or defend yourself.
Dalutkolo Lutuli, once an MK guerrilla who served 10 years on Robben Island, but then switched allegiances to Inkatha, was the political commissar of the Caprivi group.
Training was not police training. It was a military training. Because if it was not a military training, there was no need for a political commissar in the police force, a commander in the police force. There was no need. Even the weapons which they were using there, it was purely military weapons. For instance, the mortar. Where can we use a mortar? RPGs, light machine guns, AK-47, hand grenades, land mines, anti-personnel mines, explosive, different TNT, plastic explosives. So I'm mentioning now weapons of war, not police weapons. Now, it was a military training. That's what I can say. If the defense force, they say there was no secret, it was an open thing. No, it can't be. Because when they took these people from Burundi to Louis border, they were put in a truck without windows. On our way now to that base, everything were blanked, the plastic bags or whatever, so that they mustn't see and recognize the place of training. And then when we were there, from commanders up down to instructors, all of them used false names. Why? Was it not something which was done, secretly? Of course it was secretly.
Zweli Dlamini, another Caprivi trainee, testified in a balaclava because he did not want the people in his village to know about his testimony.
We were dealing with the learning about arms, the attacking of houses. During the demonstration, there was a house which was locked, and we were shown as to how to penetrate the house and attack or shoot. And we're told that when you enter a house, you should have a hand grenade, Uzis, shotguns, and AK-47s. Those were the firearms that we were taught about.
And what would you do once you'd entered this house?
You had to shoot anyone inside the house.
Why was that?
That was supposed to be the AC inside, so we had to shoot everything.
The Caprivi group received a warm welcome when they returned to South Africa.
They were called to be to meet the president of IFP, who arrived and accepted them and welcomed them very positively and was impressed and thanked them for coming back, and also emphasized on the fact that he was not comfortable and safe. He thought he was being hunted and people threatened him to kill him as well. And now that they were back, the trainees, he felt so securely and he felt brave enough.
Over the next 6 years, many of the Caprivi men were deployed in KwaZulu-Natal. Lutuli, also known as Mandlanduna, called on them whenever UDF or ANC supporters had to be wiped out. They became efficient killing machines.
If there was an UDF stronghold, the Teleweni group will be taken because it was it knew the place very well. They know the targeted houses which were to be burned. So when they arrive at night, their task will be to throw petrol bombs and run away. And the Caprivians will stay behind, and they will shoot people who will be running out from their houses.
Can you recall whether there were any prominent leaders who were killed during this pattern of violence which you described, by these persons on your instructions?
Yes, I remember Chief Mlaba. Zazi Kuzwayo. Chief Mapumulo. Reggie Hadebe. And many others whom I don't remember. I went to the area to kill all the people who were attacking those people who were running to us.
Did you kill any people? And how many people did you kill?
Many things happened. Some of them got injured, some died. I can't remember the number because I used to do this and run away.
Is your evidence that you don't know how many people you killed, but there were quite a number? You don't know how many people you injured, there were quite a number.
Yeah. I believe that the Commission should have no difficulty in coming to the conclusion that the Lutulis and Mkizas, the men on the ground and on the front line, were not conducting a series of unconnected private frolics, but in fact acted at the behest of the most powerful individuals within the apartheid state and its surrogate homeland structures. It is evident that the actions that flowed out of Operation Marion do not only include criminal offences such as murder. By necessity, the cover-up of crimes was the order of the day. As has been pointed out, this involved senior politicians and the highest police and military officers, including the Commissioner of Police himself. This deception continues through to today.